We celebrate things with a feast, right? A feast is intended to fill our senses, to engulf all of our attention and point it towards something which is great, which is praiseworthy, right? So for example, when it comes to graduations and birthdays and weddings, we do not feast the graduation feast, right? We do not feast the birthday party. We do not feast the reception, right? We feast because of a graduation, which is important. We feast because of a birthday, which is a cause for celebration. We feast because of the wedding, when we have a wedding reception. Now, we as a culture seem to have lost our way when it comes to Christmas. In some way, I think it's a sin against the second commandment. It's like we're using the Lord's name in vain as we feast the feast of Christmas, right? We seem to throw parties for the sake of the fact that it's, well, because we know we're going to get some days off of work, because we know we're going to have a big party on Christmas Day, we start having these pre-parties to celebrate the party that we're going to have. And we, most of us see this, right? We lament the commercialization of Christmas, right? We lament the risque Santa's helpers outfits that we see advertised sometimes. It's disgusting, right? But at the same time, I think many of us don't recognize that we're falling into the very same trap when we start listening to Christmas music the day after Thanksgiving, when we have, the office Christmas party in the second week of December somehow, right? These are all giving into this idea of feasting the feast rather than feasting the fact that God has come to be with us. So what the church has offered us then is this holiday observance, or this pre-holiday observance of Advent, right? That we are supposed to take some time to pray extra, to do penance, to do almsgiving, and to fast, to turn our attention away from some of those things, right? To ignore the trappings of a feast, then, is to set our attention on the real thing, on something better than the feast, something that the feast is meant to point to. We ignore the feast for a period so that we don't get distracted. So that way we can set our hopes and our joys on God's gift of salvation to us, that gift of accompaniment, that gift of being with us in our lives. When Christ was born, he was a disappointment to people who feasted often. He was actually a threat to Herod, who feasted all the time, right? So somehow those feasts have the potential to take us away from recognizing who Jesus is. He was recognized by the poor shepherds. He was recognized by the wise men who had all of their attention on watching for his coming. So we have to make ourselves like them, like the shepherds, like the wise men, by putting our attention on something else, by taking it away from all the good things that the world has to offer us right now during this season of Advent. So my suggestion is during this Advent time, rather than celebrate the Christmas that's coming up, have a Jesse tree in your home, right? So Advent wreaths are pretty popular, right? Reflect on the readings of the day during this Advent season. By the way, I'll make a video for each of those readings every day, or at least some part of those readings every day leading up to Christmas during that Advent season. Most of all, be a beacon for Advent in our culture. Our culture is broken. We need good people who observe Advent the right way. Be a beacon for the rest of the world to see that we make our culture what it is. And so if we give ourselves to Advent, we will have Advent. If we give ourselves to Christmas the proper way, we will have a proper Christmas. So let's do that by preparing ourselves the way that the church has taught us to do so. Amen.